Hi, it's Justin from AskJT. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about making tax digital for income tax, but specifically for landlords. Look, if you're earning rental income of more than £30,000 a year, this is going to affect you, and you need to get on top of what's going to happen. And it's coming in much faster than you probably think. The government have been talking about this for absolutely ages, and it keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed, but we're past that. It's coming now, and landlords and sole traders are the ones that are going to be affected first. Last week, if you happen to be a sole trader, you can find my sole trader video on this subject, but for today it's about landlords. I'm going to explain to you, if you're a landlord, how this is going to affect you, when it's going to kick in, and what you need to do to get ready ahead of making tax digital, plus a few tips to make your life a bit easier as well. Right, so first up, who's this going to kind of apply to? And it's going to be on your rental income. So if your rental income is £50,000 or more, then you're going to be pulled into this system from April of 2026. If your rental income is between £30,000 and £50,000, then you've got an extra year, and it's going to be April of 2027 until the deadline of when you're actually going to go into the system. That figure is going to be based on your income from the two previous years that you've submitted. So if you obviously will have already submitted our 23-24 tax returns, which you've filed by January 2025. If you reported more than £50,000 of rental income, then you're going to be in. And just remember that please remember, it's rental income. It's not your profit. It's the top line of what your tenants have actually paid you. You're going to get pulled into it as well. So HMRC is most likely written to you already if you are in that kind of first tranche of that April of 2026 tranche that's going to be coming into this as well. So because they already know what you've put on your tax return. Look, even if your income dropped later, you're still likely going to have to comply with it as well. So I think you've just got to, if you've got the letter from HMRC and they're going, you're coming in and you might be going, oh, well, my rental income might drop this year. I think ultimately they're asking you to come into the system. So, and they know as well that because the threshold's dropping to the £30,000 point, that you're going to have to come into it anyway. So you might as well just start and embrace this and go for it. So what do you have to do? How do you do it? That's the key question, isn't it? Well, the first starting point is to keep digital records of your income and expenses. They're going to have to be submitted quarterly to HMRC, and then ultimately you're going to pay a final end of year declaration. And yeah, this means you're going to have to use software. I would try and avoid kind of using bridging software. Spreadsheets on their own aren't really going to cut the mustard ultimately. And you're going to have to become making tax digital compliant. Ultimately, bridging software is kind of potentially going to be around, but it's going to get phased out ultimately. As a landlord, we've been I've been using Xero, the accountancy software. That is going to be fully compliant. It's on the government list. I think it's one of the best products out in the marketplace for doing bookkeeping. It's simple to use. You can connect it up to your bank account using a bank feed. It brings the transactions in. You can reconcile the transactions. You can snap receipts using their HubDoc software. It reads the content of the receipt and it puts it into your accountancy software. Making it so much easier to do. This is, I suppose, less about tax and I think getting you more in control ultimately. That's got to be the kind of the key thing here, is we've got to get you in control. Actually having tidy records and better bookkeeping and being able to run a profit and loss, actually that's really handy because there's not going to be any of those nasty tax surprises when January comes around. You should know where you stand ultimately. This isn't going to change how much tax you're going to pay, it's just how often you're going to report things. So you're going to have to report on a quarterly basis, and then you'll put that annual summary in. At the moment, HMRC is saying, well, the payments are still the same. So you make your 31st of January payment, and then your second payment on account on the 31st of July as well. So I'm not saying that they're going to not change that. HMRC might be looking at this saying, oh, quarterly payments, we can do that. But having said that, actually quarterly payments I don't think would be such a bad thing, because most of my clients absolutely detest the payment on account system, because sometimes it's going up and down, and they find it really, really difficult to predict. So some years they might be getting a bit of a refund back on their balancing payment with still something to pay in July. Other years they might be having a huge payment, with payments on account to make in January, and they're finding it really, really difficult to kind of manage. So actually, if we did see a movement towards quarterly payments, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. So here are my quick tips to get you ahead of this, to make sure that you're on track. Get a separate bank account, ultimately, to run all of your rental income and expenses through. Use the app, the Xero app with the HubDoc app as well. If those two things combine together, are going to make this really, really easy. Snap the receipts, easy peasy. Have good account conduct, so use the same bank account. That bank account for your rental will come with a debit card. Just use that as you're going around. So if you're needing to buy some building materials or something like that, just make sure you're using that receipt, and then you can talk to your accountant at the end of the year and say, look, I've put all of these things through. I'm not sure what was income and what was capital kind of deductions. Can you help me? And of course they'll be like, oh, well, it's great. It's easy to see what's happened through the business. So you're helping yourself all of the time. And do your bookkeeping little and often. Once a week, sit down for 20 minutes, just get it done. It might not even take you that long. It's just really, really easy. And speak to an accountant if you're not sure. My colleagues at Orange Umbrella, they'll absolutely help you if you do need some help as well. What happens if you own a property jointly? That was a question I was asked recently. Well, look, if you're each filing separately, you've got 50-50 of that income. So yeah, you still, if your joint rental income is more than £30,000, ultimately you're going to get pulled into it. But I think one of the other questions I was asked is, if your rental income is under £30,000, then you're not in scope, so you don't actually need to do it. That could change in the future, so do just keep an eye on what's happening in terms of reporting requirements. My advice for you now: start doing the digital thing now. Get ready for it, ultimately. So you might be on £30,000 of rental income in that bracket, and you're like, I've got April 2027. Don't just wait till then. Get it sorted now, because get used to using the software. We all know, like a new piece of software, it's like, oh my God, I've got something else to learn. Don't leave yourself into that kind of position. Get doing it now. It will make so much easier. I've pulled together a Making Tax Digital fact sheet. It's on a Google document, and I'll put that in the description of the video. So if you want to kind of get the real kind of detailed stuff, that you can find that in there. If you found this video useful, then please subscribe to my channel. Drop me a like or comment. I've replied to all the comments, so please just kind of drop me a message. That would be great, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.